The topic I want to talk about today is a very sensitive one. It's very sacred, it's powerful, and spiritual. A lot of people have been talking about it. Some believe it, some do not believe. Some have had their fair share of the negative part of this topic. Some will even tell you how they have been through. But I want us to know that there is no smoke without fire, and people will not believe without having one experience or the other. Some they've seen people who have actually experienced this. Some it could be their family member or their sibling, and others could be their friends. But I really want to lay more emphasis. I want to really talk about it once again because I've talked about this topic before. So I want you to sit down and listen carefully. I want you to relax, listen carefully. The topic I'm about talking about is spiritual husband, spiritual wife, and spiritual children. Where do they come from? Who are they? Remember before I said the world was without form and void, everything came from waters. Everything were in the water, in the sea. That's okun, olokun. But the powers and principalities were in the sea. All the heavenly mates groups were in the sea. Who are the heavenly mates? Heavenly mates are our peer groups. The peer groups we were with in the spiritual realm. We were all in one peer group or the other. You could be in 3 or 4 or 5 or more peer groups, but you are going to fully represent a particular one, meaning you can be part of other peer groups, but there's a particular peer group name that you actually belong to, and then you have hierarchy of position. So nobody on earth, whether as a male or a female, that doesn't have peer group. We all have heavenly mates. We all have egbe. It's only that one egbe is more active than the other, depending on the group, depending on the hierarchy of position and the taboos. So heavenly mates are our spiritual companion, friends, groups in the spiritual realm. So without your heavenly mates, you can't function on planet Earth. Without your egbe, you can't manifest things, you can't become whom you should become on earth, because they serve as your protector, your guardian, your friends. They look out for you, they provide for you, they protect you as well. Now, where do spiritual husband come in, or where do spiritual husband belong? In the spiritual realm, some of us were married. Some were married to two spiritual husbands or three or one, depending, and they had kids for these different spiritual husbands, while some were just married to one. Not everyone. Some even had kids, probably 5, 2, 3, 10, 12, depending. Some had kids for the different spiritual husbands they were once married to. Some were married to different spiritual husbands. These I've seen and I know. So before we left the spiritual realm, because of our inquisitivity, we came to planet Earth. We wanted to know what planet Earth was like. But before we came, we made covenants. We made promises. And the promises are what we didn't keep to. That's why the spiritual husband or spiritual wife or spiritual children are affecting us physically on earth. And it differs. Some spiritual husbands are kind, they are calm, while others are very wicked. Some are really jealous. Some are really violent. Depending, it all depends. So the spiritual husband will not take and will not like the fact that you came to planet Earth, you are with another man, you've breached the contracts, the promises you made together. Now you are not fulfilling your part, you are doing otherwise. That's why the spiritual husband reacts. So before anything, before you do anything, consultation is needed. And apart from consultation, you yourself must have been experiencing some things via dreams or physically. You might be experiencing some things. That's why you have to be very sensitive. You need to be very inquisitive and observant. Spiritual spouses are real. Spiritual children are real. Now, some people said, Can we appease them? Are we to settle them? You don't settle, you don't. It all differs. Some spiritual spouse are very, very powerful. Some were warriors, some were protectors, some were king, depending on the hierarchy of position. Some are calm, they don't even care. If you like, you get married to different men on earth, they don't care. And I want you to know that they are powerful to the extent that they can inflict sickness to your partner or to you, so that you won't be able to get married on earth. They can inflict sickness, poverty, different things to you, not only you, to your partner or anyone around you, that is not making them be able to have time for you. So, this spiritual spouse, because of the promises you've made with them or the covenant you've made spiritually that you are not even aware of, you've forgotten, they tend to react because you are doing otherwise. You've breached the contract. Now, how do we come to settlement? Most spiritual spouses are being settled, and when you settle them, it's not once. You settle them from time to time, so they can let you live life peacefully. You can be happy with your physical husband, with your children. They can protect you, protect your physical husband and your children, and they can provide for you, make way for you, because they are very, very powerful. Another person that have access to you apart from your own self is your spiritual partner and your heavenly mate. Apart from your own self is your spiritual partner, whether as a male or a female, and your heavenly mate, and then your children. So, apart from settling them, this is when you appease. If the divination says you must appease, if they ask and it brings it down that you must appease, that's when appeasement comes in. You don't do things out of ignorance. You must be well informed. You must know how they do these things, because they are really, really sacred and deadly. So this is when divination is done, and you are told after settlement from time to time you need to appease. That's when you appease. Not all spiritual spouses are bad. Those that are bad, once you do divination, the universe will tell you you need to stay away from that spiritual spouse completely. It now depends. You don't do things out of ignorance. You must be well informed once again. It now depends on what the universe says. If the universe says you should settle, which you must settle. If it says after settlement you need to appease from time to time, you must appease. If it says you need to stay away from the spiritual spouse, you must do so. How do you do so? You need to do some sacred rituals that can't be mentioned or talked about on air. They are sacred. And if the universe will tell you the things you need to use, the things and how to do them, the universe will tell you, will make it known. And it's a professional. It's someone that knows how to do these things. Are the people to do it. Is the person to do it rather. You can't let a naive person do this thing for you, because the consequences is really, 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 really bad. Now, because you were curious, you left your spiritual partner that you loved each other so well, and you made promises, you made covenants. But because you came to planet Earth, you forgot about everything. And your spiritual partner must have been giving you some signs for you to know that he is waiting. But because you didn't know, you are not sensitive enough, you don't know that it's warning you ahead of time. It's telling you don't do this, don't do that. But because you don't know, you are not spiritual enough, you didn't get a warning before it attacks. So be very careful. Be very careful. You are different. You are a different person. That's why it's good for you to go for consultation. Get to know everything about your existence, your life's blueprint. If you have spiritual spouse, whether as a male or female, or if you have spiritual children, or what does your spiritual spouse need? How to settle, how to appease. That's if necessary for appeasement. They differ. It differs. Let people tell you what they've experienced before you judge. If you've not experienced these things, you talk. You can say whatever it is you want to say. But for those that have experienced these things, they will tell you what they've been through. The spiritual spouse might not let you get married, might not let you have a relationship, might not let things go well for you. The spiritual spouse might even inflict the person with illness, with sickness, and the person won't be at peace with him or herself. So these things are really sacred. They are sensitive. They are powerful.